Welcome, and we would like to call to order the Board of Trustees, Fair Community College Board of Trustee meeting for Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. I would entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Time for citizens' comments. Lisa, do you have any? On the agenda is approval of the December 16th, 2025 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Next, we have the warrant fix that is 2025 December.
In the month of December 2025, the college dispersed $4,808,395. Of that, $759,903 was for the outdoor athletic complex. Thank you, Mammoth. Otherwise, there are the amounts as shown.
So moved.
Say aye. So the next thing on the agenda is one of the things we look forward to. See the new faces on campus, and sometimes it's those who are returning. So we're always glad to have those. So I'm going to turn it over. Who's next, or do you want me to call?
Second, I'll open it up. I have introduced them two new faculty members that are starting 3 days ago. 3 days ago now, I guess. It's been a long 2.5, 3 days. First in our digital media communications program, I like to introduce Cleo. The Masters of Art, University of Missouri Art School of Journalism. Her department currently resides in Kansas City, where he works for an engineer for BOT. He's a graduate of State Fair. First generation student. She used A+ at Trio, so she understands all these things that we talk about. Her free time, she enjoys writing, reading, photography, and a bunch of other stuff that we don't talk about. I think you're going to find that she's going to bring a lot of enthusiasm and energy, not only to the digital media part, but to the college in general. What happened to happen?
Thank you guys for having me. Ask me about my hobbies anytime. I do have one. Thank you. Thank you.
Second is in our math department, it's Dr. Kapil Sharma. He just finished his doctorate in physics at Missouri Mtg. He relocated his family to Sedalia and real quickly. Not only can we hired him as a math teacher, but he's going to be able to teach physics, obviously. He brought back Intro to Astronomy, which we haven't offered in several years, but it's got 2 classes that are both full already. So, we're happy there. Married, wife Alicia, and they've got 2 small children. I got to meet them all the other day at the basketball game, so that was nice. He loves hiking and playing chess. In addition to our staff. Thank you.
I am delighted to introduce you tonight our newest nursing faculty member, Desiree Hubert. Desiree has been a nurse for about 10 years. She started her teaching journey shortly after she graduated nursing school. She's been teaching since 2017. She started teaching in the clinical at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. And then most recently, she's been teaching at BCM. And so her and her husband moved here to Sedalia about a year ago. Is that right? This is the last summer. This was last summer. Perfect. He's working at Newport, right? And so they have 2 small children, and she's hit the ground running and doing great. So we'd like to welcome her. Okay.
And finally, Dean Raymond.
Weird.
That sounds weird, doesn't it? Actually, use other terms.
Our new employee in our department is Mrs. Fatima Ahi. I'm sure most of you know her. Oh, well, new in our department to the college. So we're excited to have her as our new college and career placement coordinator. So she's came on board January 16th, I believe, and hit the ground running and doing a fantastic job. So we're really excited to have her as part of our team.
Welcome.
And then the next person I want to introduce, because she'll do a lot better job. This is April Godwin. She will talk about her.
All right, so this is Alex Ford. Alex Ford is a SFCC alumni. She got her associate's degree here, and then she transferred to UC, and where she completed her bachelor's degree in international business administration. And then after she graduated, she taught ESL over in Spain, and then she discovered her passion for working in adult teaching. And so now she's joined our AEL program in 2004, and now she is four. You're in 2024, and now she is moved and as our AEL specialist in our office. So we're glad to have her on board with us.
Yeah, we have other ideas, right?
Stop it.
So those of you who were introduced, we welcome Dave. Or you so choose, maybe things. Fine.
Don't be the last one out.
You certainly are welcome to.
Feel free to exit.
Next on the agenda is the Student Government Association update, but I think we can have a little person who is our new coordinator for student engagement.
Hi. I know pretty much all of you. So I am now the student engagement coordinator. I am super excited. It's been busy, which is great, so even though I'm new to this role, I'm not new to campus. Prior to TRIO, I did go here from 2018 to 2020. I served as SGA president from 2019 to 2020. So this is a very full circle moment for me. Super exciting. So as far as welcome back things, I feel like welcome back was a success. We had 53 students at bingo last night, which is great. It is great. And then we had 32 at our intent bracelet making today. I met with all the club and org advisors last week to talk about semester and get everyone excited and just talk about expectations moving forward. We have our first SGA meeting. I'm sorry, Lisa, I'm probably. We have our SGA meeting with all clubs and orgs this Wednesday. And then we're moving right along to homecoming. So the homecoming theme, are we ready? That falls on Valentine's Day is Love is in the Air at State Fair. So very, very excited. My office is located in student services. If you guys need anything, questions that happen with that. Okay, thank you.
The kiss cam at the ball game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I always said my neck with Dr. Murderance.
Better make a plan.
Looks like he's looking.
Would be- That would be really good with Rowdy. Rowdy with the cam. I'll talk to Dawson.
Thank you for your.
Thank you, guys.
for your-
I'm super excited. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Great. On the agenda is the institutional report. So do you?
Dr. Murderance will introduce Kelly Russell with the faculty carrying campus.
As you know, one of the things we've all talked about and one of our goals is this to be the premier place to work. We've talked about that, and much of it is about the culture that you create and the teamwork and collaboration and so forth. And so you all know that we started the Caring Campus specifically for the staff side, and we got a grant, and we still continue that process led by Scott. But we also started the second portion of that a time back. It seems like forever ago on the faculty side. And so we had a great handpicked team for the faculty. They had stepped up to do it as well. and went through a lot of work to begin the integration and some concepts about what Caring Campus is, which I'll let our folks here do. But Kelly Russell's not only is she leading the Caring Campus, but now is taking over as the taking over is the wrong word maybe, but is the Faculty Association president. And so what we see is that integration. So as she talks, you know, I really want to highlight that this has really been a true integration. The faculty really stepped up there. So I'll turn it over to Kelly and be quiet. She has a whole team of people.
We have us that could be here tonight.
We're along the best of them.
Thanks. So I'm Kelly Russell. Picture up on the slide is the original group. So we were contacted via Dr. Murder. Faculty, there was some faculty selected based on, I'm not 100% sure, but it was like grade distribution and things like that. And we were all interviewed. And then a core group of us that were had the availability to serve on Caring Campus faculty group. And the picture is the original group of faculty. All of those people are still on the committee. Some of them just couldn't be here tonight. So here's a list of all the members of the Caring Campus faculty group, I should say. You can see that there are two at, towards the bottom that are in blue. So after we went through the training process with Trudy and the Caring Campus organization, we realized we were discussing about how we were going to integrate this into faculty and so forth. And we realized that of the people on the committee already, we didn't have representation in every division. So we reached out and we recruited Kelsey and Amy here tonight. So we have representation on the committee from every division. We thought that was important so people can take back to their division the things that we're working on. These are just some slides that come from the Caring Campus language, the company that trained us. The idea is behind this is that students are more successful when they feel cared for, they stay, they complete, they have a better overall experience. These were the sessions that we went through in our training with Caring Campus faculty. We met, I don't know how often it was, every couple or the other Friday, something like that. With Trudy, who is our leader from Caring Campus faculty. And we went through all the processes. And these are the faculty behavioral commitments that we landed on. Now, most of these originate from the Caring Campus organization. We didn't come up with these completely on our own. We would tweak them based on our organization and what would fit in our organization. So we'll kind of walk through these. But just like with Caring Campus staff, you know, the name tags and greeting people, these are our behavioral commitments that we're asking of. I'm going to kind of just walk through those. And before the first day of class, clearly communicate about the course. I have another slide that gives some examples. You want to?
We just kind of found things that most faculty are already doing in some way and provided some areas where they could maybe add on to what they're already doing. So some examples is like a syllabus. I think it was like your complete syllabus. And that was the other thing, how our simple syllabus that integrated really well with this specific behavioral commitment, because new formatting, much easier for students, very consistent throughout campus.
A reminder, Simple Syllabus is a new software. We're rolling out this semester, faculty are using in all faculty.
Yeah, it's in the same place, it looks the same,
Right.
information's the same in every course, things like that.
Right. And the idea behind us, rolling out these behavioral commitments is not to tell faculty how to do things in their classes and how to meet these commitments, but give them ideas for new ways to connect with their students.
So we suggest certain things are communicated prior to the course. Our courses become available to students 3 days before classes start. So we can't do too much, like 2 weeks before class. Which they're not really paying attention to 2 weeks before class. But within the window of the course opening, we ask faculty to start the ball rolling and making that connection with the students. Commitment 2 is share your story. So prior to going to Caring Campus, I went to another conference. And then a couple of us went to the Caring Campus Faculty Conference, which we'll talk about kind of towards the end. But a lot of us had something in our syllabus or our course about who we are, what my degree was in, what's my favorite thing to do. And what I learned from some of the conferences is when we talk about sharing our story, the students see us as if we don't have any difficulties in our life, that things are easy for us or everything's going on. So with sharing the story, the idea is I also shared struggles, or I also share, I tell a story sometimes about how I almost got fired from my first job, and where that took me and what I learned, and I changed my major a couple times, and just tell them things, share them that I'm, as human as they are, and I can understand some of their struggles. So we did focus on this behavioral commitment this semester. We try to highlight 1 or 2 every semester with faculty. We laid them all out, but then we kind of readdress them and talk a little bit more about each one as we learn more things. But these are just some of the examples of things that we do with sharing our story. We ask faculty to do this early in the first week, but we also tell them to share things throughout the semester as well. Engage students in a first day activity. This one is more about getting them connected with each other. Caring Campus faculty does focus a lot on connection with the faculty members, but this behavior is specific to getting the students connected to each other. I have 3 kids, you guys are probably all familiar. They're very disconnected these days, quiet, non-social, in their devices, things like that. So the idea is to force a little bit of connection and conversation, and so this was another one that we focused on this semester.
Well, I think one of the things, and Kelly mentioned about us going to the conference, one of the things I think we came away from the conference the most was, and we heard stories, they had some recordings of students, they are graduates of different programs, that what made the biggest difference to you at your college. And not only was it those instructors that made a personal connections, but the relationships they forged with other students that were either in their program or some of their courses. And so I think that was kind of an eye opener for us at conference. We came away and we were like, that's something that we haven't really discussed as part of this process. So that was definitely something we brought back to faculty association meeting with that. Like, how can we encourage that student to student interaction and connection so that they feel comfortable and connected here?
So for example, my first day, I teach tech math and tech science. We did like Legos. I split the group in half. One half the group had a model Lego thing. They had to write the directions on how to build. I told the other group to build this and they swapped. And then the other group had to build it from the directions. So of course it doesn't go well, because they have no time. They're all paid, so they all got to work together. And then in my strength materials class, they had to build with that pasta and marshmallows. That didn't go well, but everybody laughed. It wasn't necessarily related to the course much yet. I mean, it is loosely because it's problem solving, but it did get some talking up.
Behavior commitment or 4 within first 2-3 weeks, learn and regularly learn the student's preferred name. So I've been here 16, 17 years, and I can remember in my early years, every year I'd be like, I'm gonna know everyone's name. I'm gonna know everyone's name. And I do have in my particular role, I do have the luxury of repeat customers. I might have a student 2 semesters in a row or something like that. But when you have 5, 6, 7 classes and you have 25, 30 students, then, you know, it can be difficult. It's easy sometimes to learn the ones that talk a lot and connect, and it's hard. So this is something that is super important to the students, though. One of the things I did when we started this process is I started giving my students just little surveys, like what would make you think that I cared for you, or what are things I do that make you think I cared for you? And almost 100% of the time, it was know my name. And so we learned through the process, also at the conference, either just techniques to help us learn their name, but also things like, if I'm reading off of my roster and I get to a name that is unusual and I'm not sure how to pronounce it, the fact that I stop and I struggle with it, it's like almost pointing out that you're different, or you know, something like that. So we even learn techniques instead of us going through the roster, like you guys introduce yourselves so that I hear how you want to be called or how your name's pronounced. So we learned a lot of things like that as well. So we're just some of the things we use. Nameplates, like I asked my students on the first day of class, I'm like, you might have come in today and just sat wherever there's an empty seat. But if you come back in our next class, like I would like you to sit where you're gonna sit. And then I do a, you know, I write down who's sitting where, and it just helps me when I'm trying to call on students. And so we all have our way of learning their names, but this is super important for the students. So this is something that we're very committed to.
We rolled that. This was one of the first behavioral commitments
one
that
of
we
the
rolled out
first
to
one.
faculty, because we thought, well, they're probably already doing something or at least making an attempt. So this was a good place to start when we rolled out.
I will say that in Yater today, Mariana was showing all of us up because she was standing outside of her classroom and telling every kid what their name was as they walked in. I'm like, it's day 2. But she's got it down, so I don't know what she's doing.
You might have her.
But we need her to come tell us what she's doing, because I mean, I have like 150 students. I don't know that I'm gonna get there that quick, but she's got it down.
Number 5 is within 2 to 3 weeks, create moments that matter. This can be all over the board. We did talk to our students about things like this, but like, for instance, I have a lot of baseball players. And so on the first kind of week of class, when I'm trying to get to know people, you know, I'll ask them or let me know if you're on any sort of athletic team or music or theater, things like that. And so then I do try to ask them, you know, how was the game? I have 2 basketball players in one of my classes, and I like, you guys are doing great, you're having a great season, and I said something about one of the games they just had, and so, it is kind of throughout the semester as they're walking in, you know, ask them questions and chit chat with them and, a variety of things, but, the whole idea is to continue to make that connection with them, or personal level, I guess.
Like during hunting season, usually it's a pretty safe bet to ask about hunting generally. I have an easy one, they like to send, you know, they share their photos. I think an online class is hard for this one. So this week I've spent a lot of time trying to respond to every single one of my students' introduction posts and saying something specific to what they said. And how the class will help them in some way it's time consuming. And I hear, well, we share a wall. So I hear you giving video feedback or audio feedback all the time. So I mean, and that's time consuming, but I think that the students really feel like that means we care.
And you brought up a good point with online classes. You know, this is new, this is our first year, and we're getting in as much stuff as we possibly can. But we definitely, are going to have to, beef up our connection in online courses. I think, several of us are going, to, Allison's quality instruction meeting and just making sure the things they're working on and align with the things that, you know, we're doing in Caring Campus, especially for online students, because it is more difficult to, you know, have that connection when you're not talking to them and seeing them in person and things like that. So that is definitely an area where I think we can improve, and we're going to focus on as we get this all laid out. Behavior number 6, create assignments and assess early and often to provide meaningful feedback. The early and often lets students know the level of rigor. You know, it's hard for students if they don't get feedback till week 4. They're so far into the semester. They don't have as much time to increase their grade, things like that. So we've all made the commitment to, you know, just little things the first couple of weeks that we ask them to do, and we give them feedback so then they have a better sense of what our expectations are for the rest of the semester. And they tend to be more successful that way. Somebody else can share some examples.
I teach composition, so my classes are already, but you know, we tend to break down the bigger essays into smaller parts so that we can then give them immediate feedback on like working on thesis statement in the first week. So then they have feedback on their thesis, going for research, things like that.
Timely feedback was one of the things that the students requested from us when we reached out to them. You know, when we said, what can I do to make you feel like I care about you and your success in the class? And they said timely feedback. And I can't remember the exact words they used, but valuable or I don't know, helpful or something feedback. So that's definitely one of the things that we're working on. And I think that's also one of the things that Allison's group is working on. So we're gonna make sure we're aligned with them.
Oh, one of the things we do in my class, we can actually do about my homework. In my class, is we take students in the middle of the day, so we kind of just go over like, when there's the new progress report can be coming out, like, just so you know, this is happening, all your classes, just because like, it's not necessarily a good place in other classes to do it. My classes are kind of the catch-all. But we usually just kind of check in with general things, everybody getting registered, second weeks is starting, get sure you know if you have one. This is the way to kind of catch up, like the little things that they don't know they're supposed to be tracking.
Number 7, throughout the semester, continue with moments that matter and practice situational fairness. So I will say from the group that was in the original group, this one was maybe the one that we were like, situational fairness, like I'm not supposed to treat everyone the same. So this one was a little, we have not, all of them have been communicated to the faculty, but this is definitely one that we haven't focused on for the semester. So, you know, I know all of us here, and I think most faculty, for the most part, when students have health issues, car issues, you know, whatever it is, work with the student. But this one was a little bit, I have to say from my point of view, it was a little free. Dr. Murder helped us work through this. Just to know that there wasn't, I think, some sort of pressure on us to, if I give this person a break, that means I have to give everyone a break. You know, I can't just give this person a break and let them turn their assignment in later than everyone else, if I want to. If I feel like the situation warrants that. And so it was a little free, I will say. But it was, I think for a lot of faculty, it was, not that we're not all caring and work with the students, but yeah, I think this one was the one that faculty were uneasy about.
I think we think of it in the sense that we need clear parameters for what is a situation that would constitute something like this. And there's not. I mean, everybody's life and things are different. And so realizing that, okay, like this student is having an issue that we can understand and allow some, you know, leniency.
So this almost gives you ownership of,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
to your point, like you're not a box.
Right.
Correct.
Because I think like Kelly said, like there was always kind of this fear that like, oh, if we give, you know, an accommodation for something to one student, then, you know, and then you create the snowball effect of, then why do I have due dates on anything? Or how do I? And so this gives us the opportunity to be like, okay, the student has come to me, they've shared with me whatever is going on. We can create a plan and work out something that works for the student. And we find that the student is usually very gracious about it, grateful, and does what needs to be done.
And I mean, I have 3 children and I parent them differently. I mean, that's the reality, you know what I mean? Some kids learn different.
Different coping skills and level of stress that
Yeah.
they can.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a stressful time in their life. And a lot of
Yeah.
Right.
people.
Yeah. So yeah, once we kind of got over the, it was kind of freeing, you know? So those were the behavioral commitments, that we are asking all faculty, to kind of bring into their classes. So after we did the training, this is the time frame that we came up with. And, we, as a group, talked about how we were going to roll this out. How are we going to deliver it? And that's kind of when the faculty association thing kind of came. We were having some turnover in faculty association. Amanda's been on faculty association forever, I think. And so there was some turnover on it. We're trying to kind of revitalize it, get more faculty to participate in a regular basis, be more involved and things like that. So we wanted this to be not just something that we invite faculty to come and we tell them what they have to do. We want this to become the culture. We want buy-in from everybody and so forth. So we felt at the time that faculty association was the best place for caring campus faculty to kind of live. And they were looking for someone to take the chair position, and no one else volunteered. So I was like, okay. So it's one of the first things we talk about at every faculty association meeting. And we have roundtables and we talk about we share what everybody does and I feel like so far it's been really positive. And then the other thing that we did with Kelsey, and Amy, they are also on the exec board of Faculty Association. And so a lot of the people here are their division representative. So when they take back Faculty Association conversations, they take back here in campus, their division meetings as well. So we're kind of sharing the same people. And so I feel like it's worked really well with here in campus kind of landing in Faculty Association. I guess we're on year 2. So I guess this might be a good place to talk about this, but a couple of us were able to go to the Caring Campus faculty, Caring Campus conference. Thank you, Dr. B. Murder.
Absolutely.
It was really great, really great. So Jennifer and I and Amanda and Kelsey Stewart went. We asked kind of everyone on the committee. We weren't going to send like 15 people, but just people couldn't go for a variety of reasons, and so we landed on. So Kelsey, Jennifer, and I are on Caring Campus, and Amanda's on Faculty Association. So the 4 of us went. It was a really great experience. We learned a lot from other colleges. One of the things we learned, and this slide, is that a lot of schools that are a few years ahead of us have really integrated this into HR. So I've talked to Scott a little bit, and I'm going to attend the Caring Campus staff meeting, but they even have it built into their job postings, their interview questions. They want to hire people that want to behave like this and treat the students like this. And so vector training, one of the things we're talking about at our next meeting is adjuncts. How do we get the adjuncts on board? How do we get the adjuncts trained? Things like that. So we're having a meeting next month. So that's kind of where we're at. But we hope that in a few years from now, it's just the way of life. That's the hope. And we hope that we get to go back to the conference and San Diego again.
State Association,
No.
the national.
Yeah. Is it? Any questions for the group?
I don't have a question, but I'm gonna save this for board discussion. I'll do it now because Kelly's here. So Nora comes home, Dr. Murders, thank you for the women of Panic on Tuesday. In class that she didn't really want to be in, and so Dr. Murders directed me to Kelly, and Martin knows Kelly. And the first thing that happened was to call me this number, and you can see the panic set over because she's a teenager. And a text and a phone conversation is not what they prefer, I guess you could say. And when she calls her, but Kelly was phenomenal. And I see a lot of she was going through these slides. I saw a lot of this stuff coming out in that conversation with her. So I got to see it from a parent side more than a board side at that time. But I ended the conversation asking if she could save the phone number. She really appreciated how much she explained stuff and went into detail and whatnot. So it's firsthand to see it actually come through was pretty enlightening. And so when I saw this come up on the board, I was like, I have to call this out because you were phenomenal with her. And she left that conversation with a plan and wanted to do. So you can definitely see it playing out in real time. I appreciate your leadership, and that's wonderful stuff. And Dr. Murders talked about the culture, establishing the culture, and you guys are doing a great job.
All right, next on the agenda is the FY 2026 budget. You guys. Good night.
Heck of a group to follow.
You got drink now.
Yeah. Ready? Okay. So, for the purposes of one, conducting a contracted presidential search, which would be 26,000 this fiscal year. And two, implementing the banner SaaS modernization upgrade for 431,558 this year. Recommended that the Board of Trustees approve an FY 2026 budget authority increase of $457,558 to be funded with the FY 26 positive variance in operating revenue.
Discussion. Not the first time hearing it, but- All in favor, say aye. Aye. Same sign. Residential search.
Now I don't have any button for it. There you had a chance. Recommend the Board of Trustees accept the past proposal from the Association of Community College Trustees for the comprehensive search services for the 7th president of State Fair Community College. Contracted cost of this search is $48,000 in professional fees, another $6,900 for background and reference checks, and consultant travel expenses estimated at approximately $3,000. Funding will be $26,000 in the FY 2026 operating budget, and then $31,900 in the FY 2027 operating budget.
Entertain a motion to approve. Questions, discussion?
CCT. One of the services offered. Also had the opportunity to help them previously. And I mentioned that our consultant that is well, but we had met him. I'd be very comfortable. His expertise and his ability to talk.
I think it should be pointed out, the contract is setting up, put into 2 payments is why part of coming out 26 and 27. And just so there's clarity around out of 2 different. The biggest reason. You have a calendar year for us, college, and there's 2 payments.
Also. Our human resources director has a lot of responsibility. Our additional presidential search responsibility. So that resources department. You serve on present. He's in the.
Big shoes to fill, so. It's going. All right, I would, let's see. Now we need the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. On the same sign. Motion passes. Since we pulled.
Thank you. There are a number of things listed here, so I'm gonna buzz through those. First is the calendar review. The calendar of events is attached. I'll call attention to a couple of things. There are some home basketball games on the calendar. February 4th is Faculty Appreciation Night, and it's the community night at the Fred, and for sure organization is that night, but we've been having these series of community nights of bread. Last weekend it was manufacturing, and we had a nice crowd of here for ball game with their families, and it's been a good event. So, the men and women's basketball game teams are fun to watch. The women are undefeated and they're currently ranked 12th in the nation. They're really an outstanding team. The men's team, we have a wonderful new coach, and they played exciting brand of basketball as well. Last week ago or so, they went to Moberly and played at Moberly, our foe, and they beat Moberly at home in overtime, and it was the first time we beat them in years. And so on February 4th, we note who the foe is on that game. It's Moberly. The men's team for sure is. But also then the next weekend is homecoming. Another region match versus Three Rivers. Some alumni planned. We were meeting with the distinguished alumni again this year on the Friday before homecoming on Saturday. We're having a luncheon and a campus with our distinguished alumni of the college. And then we will be recognizing our alumni at the ball game, and would be an exciting time. There are also a number of student activities Leah is planning for that. You can feel the energy, I hope, from Leah that he's bringing to our department. And he came up to Dr. Mers and I have this idea for, he's so excited about that she has going on. So that's really fun. So those are, you can see other calendar coming up. ACC legislative authority priorities. Today was the unveiling of the American Community College Trustees Group, their Association of Community College Trustees, their green sheet, which outlines the legislative priorities for budget savings. I made copies in white, not green, but here are those review of those legislative authorities. We have 3 trustees going to the legislative event in Washington, D.C. in February. And we also are taking the graduate of State Fair Community College who went through, started out for adult education program, gained her high school equivalency, went on and got certification at the college, got a great job, and he's going to share her story with our legislatures as well. So that group today plotted our strategy for that event. Of these federal legislative priorities, we're going to really target the rural community college at the bottom of page 1, bullying the rural community colleges, and that's really focused on the heading to the farm bill, the ag bill, the farm bill, one ever get passed. So specific training funds for college job training. And so that's one of our priorities. The second priority, not the order of importance, but on the second page, support of education and those workforce training development. So, that's our real focus. We're focusing our strategic plan on training people to work. We're carrying that focus through in our legislative priorities. And so we are meeting City Balford and City Under, and then the CTA group as a whole, senators, both our senators. And I believe we have some special meeting with our senators and their legislative. We're looking forward to that. SFCC campus master plan. We've been working for a year on our campus master plan, nearly a year. have Jeff Page and Eddie Wood on our team, along with the executive leadership team, Keith, Dr. Murder, Mary Joyner, and I. And so, and a lot of other people have been involved in providing input to that, their surveys, and they've been on campus, they've talked to students, they've talked about staff, and we are preparing to bring that campus master plan to the board of trustees next month at our meeting. And so it's really a comprehensive document, and we plan to send that draft that we're proposing to adopt the 1st of February. Probably I'll send it in my Friday communication to you. And I would suggest that you take some time to look through it, questions, make suggestions. That should give you time most of the month of February to look at it. And it's really that campus master plan. We're planting the vision for the future of this campus in terms of its physical presence here, Vidalia, repair, the things involved. So take some time to look at that. Over our history, I think this is our 4th campus master plan. As you look at the college is very good at planning and then pulling them. Key things on our campus from those plans all along. So if you think about this plan, it's really going to set in motion substantial important things for our campus in the future. Anything to add, Jeff? Hey.
Don't try to look at it. Yeah, you have to have your, the bigger screen.
That's a great point. So I'm going to send you a digital copy that you can view on your tablets, but if you would like a copy of that, let Lisa know. It is in a format that's about this big. If you recently had like a birthday and you're being you may want to get an expanded copy.
We're all looking. Good birthday present.
Yeah, make me.
It does have a lot. Yeah, the good thing is it does have a lot. All right, spring semester update, Tuesday. Semester started and we had a great start to the semester. On that first day, we had during campus kind of attitude, greeting students as they came on the campus. Dr. Murders and I were our usual station out on the sidewalk out front here, and it was cold that day. I'll guarantee you that we were both dressed, actually dressed the same way with matching outfits, but that's another story.
Feels like the kiss cam.
You're feeling love here, aren't you?
Yeah. I feel like you called him and asked him what he was wearing.
Felt that way when I saw him.
Go back, I saw pictures and where was it? It's funny. It's Dr.
So anyway, we got off to a great start. Currently enrollment is up. I ran the enrollment today, and our headcount enrollment is up 6.5%, just over 4,000 students. And our credit hour enrollment pays the bills is up 8%. It's up about almost 3,000 credit hours over the last year. So the enrollment is really strong, and after census, we'll bring back a detailed enrollment report. See where that goes. To the agenda, outdoor athletic complex update. If you're talking about complex out here, This week, had a lot of attention. They put up the posts for the scoreboards for the baseball and softball. And they're massive, holes out there. They'll be putting up the lights, in the baseball and softball. Field. They have deployed those lighting standards in the parking lot. That, so, making good progress on that complex. They're getting started on the concession stand. Had some waste soil stability issues, so they had to do some soil work there. They're about to got that resolved and we'll be starting to see some things come up on that concession stand. So the baseball season starts in February. We're not going to have the baseball field open in February. But we do hope to have that field open before the season ends. And the softball season, their first home game is the 1st of March. And there's a good chance the softball field will be open for that first March. So our plan is that we would like to have kind of at least three kind of opening ceremonies. So when the softball field is opened, it's not going to be the first game because of some scheduling with for the pool. But soon after the first game, we're going to have a first pitch ceremony honoring the folks that have donated. And then in March, we'll do the same thing with baseball. And then the whole complex should be done, close to being done in May. There may be some wrap up things in June, but in May, we plan to have a facility opening ceremony. Maybe we can involve students. It'll be fun when we get students there in the afternoon. And so we'll get those details to you. But you will all be participating and your their cups warmed up or finally, Missouri legislative visits, the legislative session is off. And typically, the board, we try to go a couple of times to visit. So, are y'all interested in doing that again? Or I know, it's tough to get away from work for some of you, but if you're interested, Lisa can do a survey and on board make some dates where you guys would be available to go in and visit. Some head. So Lisa will help out doing that. One bill that we're watching closely is a bill that really came from State Fair Community College. And we worked with our superintendents in our service region. They expressed how the most important thing that we could do for them would be send them more certified teachers. So we worked with them to explore options for that. And it became clear the associate and applied science degree in education as a path into teaching was the most important strategy for them. Unfortunately, state law requires a bachelor to be certified and licensed. So Representative Haley has introduced a bill that would allow the associate and applied science degree in education to be used for certification of licensure in the process where you would graduate from state community college as an example. They get hired by a master school district, work 2 years with a member in that school district, and then their full licensure. So there are thousands of bills introduced each year. Most of them don't get a hearing. Our bill got a hearing. So actually heard this week, House Education on K-12 education And Representative Haley asked me to testify. And also the other superintendents have been working with us, Noster superintendent and superintendent, they both testified as well. And there was opposition that also testified. Specifically, the opposition was from schools, which are the regionals, universities, and West Missouri State spoke out. But we were very well received by the committee, very positively, and the chair of the committee expressed to us after the meeting that he believes that bill has a real chance to be voted on. So if you think about the thousands of bills that start, most of them don't get it or get out of committee and actually get for the great vote. He believes that there's enough support. So I'd say we were kind of underdogs when we started. We didn't get it with fans. I mean, maybe we said when we first talked to us about it. And talked to his wife is so retired. He's retired. He said, "Stay away." We looked at good. Had conversations and we were like, "This is really what we need." So I'm excited about that. Dr. Murders has been really the lead. This may have been his idea. I think it was his idea. And he developed it out. And I'm here to tell you, if this passes, it's going to have a. In fact, that question was asked to Wheeler. Superintendent Wheeler is Noster, one of the best school districts around, recognizes the top school district in the U.S. Department of Defense schools that supply. And he would ask, you've got a great program. You put this in place, would this be better for you or worse? He said it would. That's his system. So this would be really good. Dr. Mercer, way to go. So we'll set those up, and that's my report. I started battling there. I'm sorry about that. I'm passionate about it. Luckily, at the legislative hearing, they gave me a time limit. So any questions or February 4th, military and publication? Military.
I sent them all to you on your phone. If you want.
All right.
Dr. Bailey. Next on the agenda is the financial report, of course, informational purposes, but Keith?
So you have the report as of December 31, 2025, which is halfway through the school year. Typically, on the expense side, that generally represents about half our expenses. So it's a pretty good gauge. Obviously, on the revenue side, it skews the tuition and fees skew earlier, and then the profit coming out. You look at it, see that we continue, as Dr. Bates mentioned, the increase in enrollment. We continue to have a very strong financial base there. Particularly pleased on the expense side. You'll see that for the instructional category, institutional support category, we're literally under pace from last year, which means we're doing a very, very good job expenses on that. And then with the instruction, and the other instruction is up for a couple of reasons. One, we are spent some of our enhancement grant money earlier this year, and two, as we have increased enrollment, we have increased instruction expense with overload, with our adjuncts, things like that. In that, so that's for a good reason. The social support is primarily driven by the additional budget authority we asked for the Banner SAS implementation. We've already paid most of that for it. So you're seeing that impact there. So other than that, I think we're doing very, very good. We are. No, I know we're doing a great job staying on budget. So Once again, we need to have a strong financial position that's led by everybody at this college doing everything they need to do to make it happen that way. Then secondly, you have the investment report. Now, the quarterly investment report as of December 31, 2025. So that overall, there's 13.8 million between demand deposits at Central Bank, then 5.2 million in various maturity of time investments. And those maturities of the time investments go from 27 through 30. So we've got those in for a while. I've been trying to keep kind of a 1/3, 2/3 ratio of cash to investments. Primarily as we have needs for sometimes some significant amounts of cash as we're building various projects. But so our current rate at the bank is now at 3.5%. Our time deposits are 4.3. So we continue to have a fairly strong return on those. Lastly, December is sort of a half month. Those people spending money. One of the events we had to be reported was the narrowed stage lines at that cluster on the 1270. Any questions on anything or financials?
Thank you, Keith. Next on the agenda is the board discussion. We don't have stress balls, but I will tell you, I'm an educator, retired educator, so sometimes those meetings can be like, get through all of that and try to stay awake and be energized and ready to teach. And I think it was, Justin and I were able to attend a convocation and they kept everybody on their toes because they could not wait to throw the ball. Dr. Murders took it for the team both times, both in the afternoon, but kudos to anybody who had a role in thinking, how do you keep them engaged, have fun doing it?
I would concur, and I got this information from the people on the street, if you will. And when you first became president, you had all this over and talked to us about presidency and what you like to do, what you think. One of the things with that we spoke about was your length. And I said how we're on the street from my people, they hate long, out, right? Forever speeches. Yeah, very first speech of the president, like you're in, you're out, and they're like, yes, he's the man. And I heard again this last session with the song and whatnot. I mean, they are actually happy. The torture when they hear blah, 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 blah. Or a couple people cheated because they used others to get in multiple minutes, but nevertheless, it was well received.
Well, I think we're going to mention on the presidential search that once we're going to be in Washington, I meet with Dalton, finalize, work with him on the timeline. Presidential search while we're over there and can be face to face. And yes, just the timelines that or to identify what a consultant wants the board is to do prior to search. Really, there's some preliminary steps that needs to be in help us in the timeline. And I also had the opportunity to submit written testimony for the bill, focusing on the education was a workforce development. There was a critical workforce need because K-12 school system is one of the 2 or 3 largest, if not the largest employer. It's community. That is a critical work in the state military.
Anything else? Did, I didn't, was invited to Let's Talk Sedalia, John and Hannah are on told. And, well, they couldn't get away with it. Call me up. Yeah, pretty much. So, although John said it's mostly gonna be speaking regarding the juvenile office and my. Or did have a little bit of, I don't need to speak about college. And although I did not give you a shout out, sorry, I actually gave Mary a shout out. Going to air on Saturday.
So next on the agenda is indicating our next meeting, which will be held, the Board of Trustee General Session will be held Thursday, February 6th, 2026 at 5:30 here in the Hoffman Boardroom. And so next, then after that, we have request for closed session, and then down on the agenda after closed session is just the amendment of the general session. So want to indicate that we will come out. So I would entertain a motion to go into session for lease, purchase, or sale of real estate pursuant to RSMO section 610.0212. And hiring, firing, disciplining, and promoting the personnel pursuant to RSMO section 610.0213. The motion.
Second.
Roll call. Amy Pierce,
Yes.
Jim Carr,
Yes.
Justin Hunt,
Yes.
Paige,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. Be careful as the weather starts